Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Light Sports Ramble. As always, my pleasure to talk to you today about a topic related to sports. Appreciate all the listeners. Just going to get right into it today. I got the topic from Twitter. It was a busy day at work, so I didn't get to read the whole article. But it talked about how the Packers draft picks, Eddie Lacy and Jonathan Franklin, were going to make the Packers better. And I totally agree with that. Got two talented running backs. But I'll tell you what, they're not going to do anything if you don't fix the offensive line and give them at least somewhat of a hole to run through. Which got me thinking. In today's pass-happy game, I still believe that you need to have a running game to win the Super Bowl on the offensive side of the ball. We're not debating about the defensive side tonight, folks. You do need to have a defense to win. But when you look at the pure offensive side of the ball to win a Super Bowl, you've got to have a quarterback that can play, and you have to have a running back that can help you manage down and distance. I'm not talking about throwing up monster numbers. Because just ask the Vikings. Peterson had a great year last year. 2,000 plus yards, right? Where did they end up? Losing in the first round because I didn't think they had the quarterback play. So you got to have the quarterback play and a running game. And why did the Packers lose? You can say the 49ers just outplayed them, and they did. There is not even any debate there. But look at some of the drives in that game. After the 49ers got some momentum and you got a 3-and-out, why do you have a 3-and-out, Green Bay? Because you couldn't run the ball. You couldn't manage down and distance. You got to throw on first down because you can't get more than 2 yards. Now it's 2nd and 8. You got to throw the ball. The defense knew what was coming. Let's try to protect. Let's try to get Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? That offensive line was crap, so we're going to pound Aaron Rodgers. That's a lot of pressure to put on the quarterback. So my point is, let's look at the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. The Ravens and the 49ers. And you know what, Colin Kaepernick? You came out and you had a great playoffs. And yeah, you're making defenses now. Hey, how are we going to stop Kaepernick? How are we going to stop him? That's great. But let's give some credit to Frank Gore. And let's give some credit to your offensive line. Same thing on the Ravens side. Let's give some credit to Ray Rice and their offensive line. Because I'm going to tell you what, Mr. Flacco, without Ray Rice in that backfield, you're not collecting this paycheck that you're going to be collecting. Because Ray Rice helps you manage the down and distance. You're not put in a situation where it's always pass, pass, pass. Ray Rice helps you manage down and distance. And you know what, Colin Kaepernick? For you to run your little option and whatever you want to do when you're running the ball outside the pocket. Part of that is the fake to Frank Gore because you have a running game where they know Frank Gore can get 4 or 5 yards. So without Frank Gore in that running game, running that option is not going to work because teams wouldn't have to actually give in to that fake. So again, goes back to you have to have a running game to manage the down and distance to be able to compete to win a Super Bowl on the offensive side of the ball. And that's where I'm going with that. It's all great, Green Bay, that we've got Eddie Lacy and we've got Jonathan Franklin. That's great. But now, can we put the offensive line together that has been so terrible for 2 years? We'll see. We'll see if they can do it. I like the talent. I like the 2 running backs. But we also have to have an offensive line. Otherwise, it's going to be the same old story. 2 yards here, 3 yards there. Every once in a while, we'll break one for 12. But we've got to have an offensive line. And you know, you look at the 49ers and the Ravens. They had a good offensive line. They had a good running back. They had a good running game. They were able to manage the down and distance. And that's what it takes. especially in the pass-happy era today. Yes, the pass can set up the run, don't get me wrong. But you have to manage down and distance and keep that defense guessing. There's no guessing game when it's 3rd and 2 and that team knows you can't run the ball. They're going to put their nickel or dime defense in and say, okay, we're going to guard everyone, and maybe you'll get it every once in a while because we know you're not going to pound it down our throats because your running game sucks. That's where I'm going with today's topic, folks. What do you think? Do you think it's necessary to manage the down and distance to win the NFL championship and hoist the Lombardi Trophy? I do. You've got to keep the defense guessing, and how do you do it? You don't do it by passing 800 times. Ask Stafford in Detroit. He set the record for most attempts. They didn't even make the playoffs. You have to have a running game to manage the down and distance to keep the defenses guessing. And that's the ramble today, folks. I'll see you at the next red light. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great holiday. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. I'll talk to you soon.